So it's no secret that I'm quite a big Borderlands fan, and guys, we are just 13 days away from the release of Borderlands 4, and so I thought to commemorate this exciting time while waiting for Borderlands 4 to come out, I'm gonna try and kill a raid boss every single day until Borderlands 4 comes out. So this is another day of killing one raid boss a day until Borderlands 4 releases. Let's get into it. And we are back fighting another raid boss. Let's spin the wheel and see who we're going to be fighting today. No, I don't want your new color scheme. Go away, because we're going to be fighting the Trial of Cunning. Very good. Okay, let's remove that from the list and load up Borderlands 3. And here we are back inside of Borderlands 3. And I think it was yesterday when I was fighting the Tyrant of Instinct, saying how strong our Zane build was, and yet the Tyrant is still so difficult to kill, and talking about the disparity between builds. So I think today we're actually going to load up our Amara and just show you guys some of this disparity firsthand. So I was saying how Amara's melee build is just leaps and bounds above every single other build pretty much inside of Borderlands 3, and it is just absolutely no comparison. The strength of this build is unbelievable. Like I was saying, that Zane build is insanely strong, but it literally doesn't even hold a candle towards this Amara melee build. So we are heading over to the Trial of Cunning, which is in the Precipice Anchor? No, that's Discipline. Gradient Dawn. Nope, that's Survival. God damn it. Wayward Tether. Nope, that's Instinct. Oh my god, I was there yesterday. What an idiot. The Hall of Vesuvian. Nope, that's Supremacies. The Sky Drowned Pot. No, that's Fervor. I knew that was Fervor, actually. Which one haven't I clicked on yet? Precipice Anchor? No, I haven't done. I can't find it. Wait, do I have it here? There are 6 here, right? Yeah, I'm just being an idiot. Ghostlight Beacon. Wow, it's really the first one. Okay, well. Maybe I cut that out. Maybe I don't. Maybe I let you guys see how much of an idiot I am. And that I don't actually guess it first time, every single time. Regardless, we have finally made it over to the Trial of Cunning. Let's head just outside of the arena to obviously turn this into True Trials mode to make sure we are doing the raid boss variant. There we go, True Trials enabled, and we will pick up the quest here and briefly go through the Amara build, and this one is very, very simple. We have a Face Puncher, which is going to deal melee damage, no gun damage whatsoever. All the damage that this deals is melee damage, and so every time I shoot this gun, 14 different melee projectiles are going to shoot out and, well, yeah, apply melee damage. Now you can see the anointments. Melee attacks have a 25% chance to apply terror to ourselves. So pretty much when we shoot this, we have a guaranteed chance to apply terror to ourselves. And that paired with something like our Fish Slap here with the anointment, when terrified, gain increased damage, fire rate. The more terror you have, the higher the bonus. This increased damage does apply to our melee damage. So this little combination here is very, very potent. Now, the Fish Slap is, once again, a grenade that deals exclusively melee damage. You can see it there at the bottom of the screen. And so this is pretty much where the majority of our ridiculous damage is going to come from. A single throw of the Fish Slap paired with the Guardian Angel, which is a shotgun which you can get from the Vault Card event. It is the first Vault Card event here, the Fallen Heroes, and you can get it just here at the top. The Guardian Angel will provide you a damage boost based on difference, and it says weapon damage. It is not weapon damage, it is every single type of damage possible, including melee damage, and it stacks up to 500% bonus damage, so that is absolutely absurd. So the general strategy with this build is to shoot the Face Puncher to apply terror to ourselves. Then we're going to swap over to our Guardian Angel, back up a little bit, and throw a Fish Slap for some absolutely disgusting melee damage. Now, our Guardian Angel is also paired with the 150% increased weapon damage against enemies above 90% health. Once again, this is not just exclusive to weapon damage, even though it says that, this will actually apply to your melee damage as well. We have the Rad Suit, which is going to provide a radiation aura, basically debuffing everything around us, which is obviously fantastic. We have our Spiritual Driver Comp, which is going to give us a bunch of bonuses to splash damage, melee damage, and a few different bonuses to some nice skills over there in the green tree. And for our Relic, this is really the cherry on top of the build, the Unleash the Dragon Relic, which is going to provide a 100% chance for our melee attacks to ignite enemies. And this melee ignite damage deals 100% of the melee damage dealt as fire damage. So you will essentially say I hit the boss for 1 billion damage, then I have a 1 billion damage dot that is going to apply to the enemies and basically finish off any mob in the game in a single melee attack, or in this case a grenade throw with the fish slap, dealing on melee damage. So that is the core of the build. As for the skill tree, we are spec'd only slightly into the orange tree, Fist of the Elements, to get our bonus in melee damage here, and we have obviously a little bit up here for status effect and duration, doesn't really matter, and converted damage here, which is actually a really good skill, because the way that this works is all of this converted damage actually basically doubles our projectile count, because it has to convert the damage some way. So what it does is it basically, we do our regular shot and then our second shots that come out are converted damage. So essentially this face puncher actually fires 28 projectiles, which is obviously insane. Now, as for our brawler tree, we have halfway down here, which is going to give us our bonus damage when up close dealing those melees. We have damage reduction here, we have movement speed and mindfulness stacks over here, and extra melee damage here. Of course, anything that can boost our melee damage is highly sought after in this build. I will just put corrosive element on there because, well, why the hell not? As for our pink tree, this is going to give us a bunch more melee damage, and actually is going to be the bread and butter focus for our mobbing side of things. Our bossing side of things is very easily covered, but for the mobbing side of things, we are actually going to use this skill called Body and Mind. And what this does is it means that all of our attacks, all of our melee attacks, deal bonus splash damage, and this is a set effect saying 5,300, which doesn't sound an awful lot. However, this is proccing for every single melee damage that hits an enemy, and as you saw here before, we are hitting with 14 here, another 14 for the converted element, so that's 28 projectiles all hitting, all getting this splash damage bonus, causing some pretty disgusting melee damage. Now we have the kill skill, meaning that enemies ignore resistances, just making us able to take them down a little bit easier. Gain increased damage for activating our action skill here, which is obviously pretty good, just a bit of bonus damage there. Our melee damage has a chance to reset cooldowns, obviously very, very handy, just so we can spam our phase cast action skill. And of course at the top we have reload speed, melee damage here, and splash damage here, which is going to benefit to all these skills down here. As for the blue tree, Mystical Assault, this is probably Amara's strongest tree. Rush is a very, very potent skill and is going to give us a bunch of action skill damage. We have elemental effect chance going on here, cooldown rates. This just gives us bonuses to pretty much everything. We have increased damage here after we deal damage with our action skill. Enemies will kind of get a little bit of a debuff. Increased gun damage here, Remnant, which is a crazy skill allowing us to basically one-shot stuff with overkill damage. Effectiveness on our rush stacks is obviously great. And of course, Avatar at the bottom here, which allows us to use our action skill twice per cooldown, and also is going to give us some bonus rush stacks as well. So with all that out of the way, that's the build, and let's head on in to this Trial of Cunning to take it down. And the Trial of Cunning is probably the hardest trial going because of all these things that actually deal some massive damage. So this one can actually be pretty tricky, but as you'll see shortly, will be no match for our Amara here. And you can see here we're getting terrified, and you can see all of these AoE explosions that are happening around. That was that Body and Mind skill proccing multiple times on every single hit. And you can see we are absolutely decimating all of these enemies over here. So we're just going to make our way through this trial basically as easily as we possibly can, really. This build is an amazing mobbing build, but where it really shines is the boss damage. And like I said before at the start of the video, is pretty much non-comparable to how much damage this build does compared to pretty much every single other build in the game. And as you'll see, when we do make it over to the Tink of Cunning, because the Tink does have a ridiculous amount of HP, like all of these true Trials raid bosses, you're talking somewhere around 10 billion HP, and we will hopefully be able to melt through that very, very quickly, providing that we are able to get there in some sort of timely fashion. Why is that guy so small, bro? God damn. Okay. You know what? I don't need to, but I'm gonna punch you. Ah, nice. Right, on to the second area. Very cool. And we'll just, yeah, keep applying terror to ourselves automatically, obviously giving us a bonus damage, and popping our action skill, which is obviously going to proc all of our action skill end anointments like bonus radiation damage and all that sort of stuff, and also going to debuff any enemy that we do happen to hit with it. Now you can actually use like phase slam or even phase flare with this build as well if you wanted to. Personally, I don't really like phase flare. I think the action skill tree is very good, but the action skill itself has always just felt kind of wrong. I don't know, it just doesn't seem to work quite right in my opinion. It does an absolutely absurd amount of damage and obviously scales off melee damage, so it can reach some ridiculous damage numbers, but it feels super janky to use, and I've never personally gotten on with it, so that's why I haven't opted for it in this build specifically. But you can make it work, absolutely, and you can get some disgusting one-shots on bosses with phase flare alone without anything else. You can just one-shot with phase flare. So that is the melee scaling at Mayhem 11, well, Mayhem 10, Mayhem 11, whatever you want to call it. It does get pretty absurd. And unfortunately, it looks like we might actually hopefully not die here. There we go. I was gonna say. One thing about this build, though, it is quite visually polluting, as you see. Everything, well, I say everything, a lot of things in Borderlands 3 are very visually polluting, but these giant corrosive AoEs, these AoEs will be any, like, based on your action skill element, so because I stuck it on corrosive, that's why we're having all these corrosive explosions. But if we had fire, it would be fire explosions and that sort of stuff. But we have those corrosive explosions, and then we also have the terror on our screen that we're firing our action skill. We've got radiation auras, which are going to explode every time enemies die. Yeah, it gets pretty messy inside of Borderlands 3. And I really hope they have toned down the kind of visual pollution that we get in Borderlands 3 when it comes to Borderlands 4, because there are times it just gets so messy, you just can't even see what the hell is going on. And as much as, you know, it's nice to see flashy giant explosions and stuff, it's also nice to be able to see what the hell's going on. So, I'm also out of ammo, which is not ideal. Maybe be able to find some. There we go, got a little bit. One thing about this shotgun is because we have the ×2 variant for those extra projectiles, it does eat through ammo pretty quickly, so should be able to manage it. We'll throw some fish slap grenades out, and yeah, you'll see they do quite a lot of damage, but you are at quite a high risk of downing yourself as well with them because they do bounce around, just like a rubberized grenade. Who would have thought that the strongest grenade inside of Borderlands 3 is a rubberized grenade? That's crazy, since rubberized grenades are just so bad inside of Borderlands. Oh god, I'm gonna die. Maybe not. Am I gonna die? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is what happens when you stick all of your weapons as melee weapons. It's not looking good for us, folks. And unfortunately, we just got left with, like, the most annoying enemy to fight. An aggro assault tink. An aggro assault tink, an anointed assault tink. Oh well. It's okay, we'll take a death. We just need some more ammo. It's pretty much the only trouble with this build. If you get yourself, like, a cut purse launch pad or something like that, one of those relics that give you all that ammo back as soon as you do like a slam or a slide, that'd be really handy for this build. I could just say that I strategically died to get ammo back. How about that? That sounds pretty good. Right, you tink. Let's get revenge. Where'd you go? Ah, there you are. It's revenge time. I'll get revenge when it comes to killing your boss. Bonk. There we go, he's dead. And because you caused me so much grief, I'm going to punch you as well. Oh, there we go. Nice. Wow, it was just him that needed to die and then it spawns more enemies? I thought we were going to be done. We really did just get unlucky then with that guy. Go, take him out. Another aggro tink. Make sure to take this guy out first. Don't want to have him as the last one alive. Nice. I can't believe it, guys. We're under 2 weeks away from Borderlands 4. It's like a fever dream. Don't get me wrong, I wish it was here right now, but my god, it is close. Let me know in the comments, have you guys pre-ordered Borderlands 4? Have you pre-ordered it? Because I definitely have. I've gone for the Super Deluxe Edition. Well, enough about that for just a second. Let's spawn this tink in. I'm just going to make sure I have all that terror procced. Stick on the Guardian Angel and throw one of those at him. And yeah. You can see the damage. And there he is. That was, yeah, over 10 billion HP. Just disappeared instantly. Like I was saying before, that Zane build was insanely strong, but it is absolutely nothing in comparison to a properly set up Amara melee build. And we got 2 Pestilent Sickles. Huh. That's cool. Okay, well, regardless, there we have it. Another day, another raid boss defeated. The Tink of Cunning is no more. Not so cunning now, you punk. Yeah, like I was saying before, what have you pre-ordered Borderlands 4? And if you have, which edition did you go for? Personally, I went for the Super Deluxe. I couldn't resist, and the prospect of having 2 new DLC Vault Hunters very much excites me, because I personally wasn't a massive fan of the added skill tree, because it's one of those things where you get this bonus content and then it's just ready from the get-go. I kind of wanted the bonus content to be like, hey, work your way towards this thing, and then after spending some time invested into it, then you're able to use it to its fullest potential, like you would have with a new Vault Hunter. Whereas this, it was like, hey, have this powerful thing straight away with no difficulty at all, just a paywall. It just kind of felt bad, and I think the added like lore implications and story impacts and stuff like that with a DLC character is much better than just a random skill tree that they decide to conjure up, especially since at the time I was very much a Flak main, and Flak's 4th pink skill tree was just absolute garbage. I'm not bitter about it. I swear to God, I'm not bitter. Anyway, let's see what we got here. We got an Elementalist, we got a Cutpurse Splattergun there, very cool, a Longbow Transfusion, and a Flesh Melter pull-out method. Not bad at all. But yeah, that's going to about do it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And did you know this is actually like one of the first areas you get to in the game? I don't know if you recognize it. They just reused the asset for the first area. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you tomorrow for another raid boss kill. Bye-bye.